The most successful person you know is moving slower than you think. You see their wins compressed into a highlight reel. The promotion, the launch, the moment everything clicked. What you don't see is the 2 years of quiet positioning that made that moment inevitable. By the end of this, you'll understand why the fastest path to what you want runs straight through deliberate strategic stillness. There's a common trap, and you've probably fallen into it. You set a goal. You start strong. 2 weeks pass, 3 weeks a month, and the results feel microscopic compared to the effort. So you pivot. You try a new approach, a new system, a new guru's framework. Another month, another pivot. A year later, you've tried 11 strategies and committed to 0. The problem was never your effort. The problem was your timeline. Jeff Bezos built Amazon around a question most founders ignore. What's going to be true 10 years from now? While competitors scrambled to win the next quarter, he invested in logistics infrastructure that lost money for years. Wall Street called it reckless. Analysts downgraded the stock repeatedly through the early 2000s. Bezos kept building warehouses. He kept hiring engineers for projects with no visible revenue. The strategy only made sense if you zoomed out far enough. Most people refuse to zoom out. That patience, calculated, strategic, eyes-open patience, became the moat that made Amazon untouchable. You might think patience means waiting, sitting still, gritting your teeth while time passes. That version of patience is useless. Strategic patience is something else entirely. It's the discipline to keep executing when the scoreboard hasn't moved yet. The discipline to trust the process during the long, silent middle, where nothing seems to be happening. Think about the last time you planted something. A seed goes into soil, and for days, weeks, the surface looks exactly the same. Bare dirt. Meanwhile, underground, roots are spreading in every direction, building the infrastructure that will eventually support visible growth. If you dug up the seed every 3 days to check on it, you'd kill the thing you're trying to grow. You know this about plants. You forget it about your own life. So why is strategic patience so brutally difficult right now? Because you're swimming against a current designed to make patience feel like failure. Every app on your phone is engineered to deliver dopamine in seconds. Social media compresses other people's 5-year journeys into 30-second clips that make overnight success look normal. Your brain is being trained daily to expect instant feedback and to interpret the absence of feedback as evidence that something's wrong. Here's where the counter-argument deserves respect. Critics of patience culture point out something real. Sometimes speed matters. Markets close. Opportunities expire. Health emergencies don't wait for your 5-year plan. They're right. Patience without discernment is just procrastination wearing a philosophy hat. The distinction lives in the question you ask yourself. Am I waiting because the timing genuinely requires it? Or am I waiting because action feels scary? One is strategy. The other is avoidance dressed in wisdom. The people who master this distinction share a pattern. They move fast on execution and slow on strategy. They'll send the email in 5 minutes, but spend 5 months choosing which market to enter. They'll ship the prototype tomorrow but wait 2 years before scaling. Speed and patience coexist in them, allocated to different layers of the same project. Warren Buffett has talked about his investment style as lethargy bordering on sloth. The man sits in Omaha, reads annual reports, and waits, sometimes for years. He passed on thousands of deals that looked promising because promising and excellent are different categories. When he finally moved on a position, the years of preparation meant he could act with total conviction. The waiting period looked like inaction from the outside. From the inside, it was continuous research, continuous filtering, continuous sharpening of judgment. Strategic patience is a verb disguised as a noun. You felt the opposite of this in your own life. That frantic energy when you're jumping between projects, answering every message immediately, saying yes to every opportunity, because what if this one is the one? Your chest tight, your attention fractured across 14 tabs and 6 half-finished plans. That's velocity without direction. A car spinning its tires on ice, enormous energy, 0 traction. Now contrast that with a memory you probably have, a period where you committed to one thing for long enough that it started working. Maybe it was a fitness routine that finally clicked in month 4. Maybe it was a relationship that deepened only after you stopped trying to accelerate it. Maybe it was a skill that felt impossible until the day it suddenly felt natural. That click, that breakthrough, only happens on the other side of a patience threshold most people quit before reaching. Research on skill acquisition reveals something counterintuitive. Progress follows a staircase pattern, not a slope. You practice for weeks with minimal visible improvement. Then, suddenly, a jump, another plateau, another jump. The plateaus aren't the absence of progress. They're the period where your brain is reorganizing everything it's learned into a more efficient structure. The jump happens because of the plateau, not despite it. Every time you quit during a plateau, you're walking away 1 week before the staircase rises. There's a Japanese concept called ma, the intentional use of negative space. In architecture, it's the empty room that makes the house feel spacious. In music, it's the pause between notes that gives the melody its shape. In conversation, it's the silence that makes the next word land harder. Strategic patience is the ma of ambition. The space between your actions is where clarity grows. Without it, your life becomes noise. Loud, busy, shapeless noise. Consider what happens when you remove patience from any meaningful pursuit. Relationships rushed past discomfort collapse when real conflict arrives. Because the foundation was never stress-tested, businesses that scale before their product works spend years fixing problems that patience would have prevented. Careers built on rapid job hopping accumulate breadth at the expense of the deep expertise that commands real leverage. Speed borrows from the future. Patience invests in it. One practical shift changes everything about how you experience waiting. Track your lead indicators instead of your lag indicators. A lag indicator is the result: revenue, weight lost, followers gained. A lead indicator is the input: calls made, workouts completed, pages written. Lag indicators move slowly and erratically. Lead indicators move every single day, as long as you show up. When your scoreboard measures what you control, patience stops feeling like faith and starts feeling like accounting. You can see the deposits accumulating even when the balance hasn't updated yet. The hardest part, and this is worth sitting with, is that strategic patience requires you to tolerate looking foolish. Your peers are announcing launches, your former classmate just raised funding, your neighbor bought the house, and you're still in a quiet phase, still building underground, still showing nothing on the surface. The social cost of patience is real. People will wonder what you're doing. Some will assume you're falling behind. You need a strong enough relationship with your own judgment to weather that. No motivational quote neutralizes the sting of watching someone else's highlight reel while you're in month 8 of your plateau. But here's what those highlight reels never show. The founder who raised funding and burned through it in 9 months. The rapid promotion that came with expectations nobody could sustain. The overnight success that created a life the person wasn't ready to manage. Speed creates its own category of problems. Ones that arrive too fast for you to build the capacity to handle them. Growth you can't absorb isn't growth. It's turbulence. There's a rhythm to this that you can feel when you get it right. Push, then pause. Execute, then reflect. Sprint, then recover. The pause isn't a break from the work. It's the half of the work that most people skip. A chess grandmaster spends more time studying the board than moving pieces. The thinking is the playing. The patience is the strategy. You already know what you need to commit to. You've probably known for a while. The question isn't what, it's whether you'll give it enough time to actually work. Whether you'll stay in the room after the excitement fades and the plateau stretches out in front of you like a flat highway with no landmarks. Strategic patience is a bet on compounding. And compounding has a dirty secret. It's invisible for a long time, then overwhelming. The first 5 years of consistent investing look like almost nothing on a graph. The last 5 years of a 40-year portfolio look vertical. The same curve applies to skills, relationships, reputation, health. The early deposits feel pointless. They're the ones doing all the heavy lifting. So here's your move. Pick the one thing you've been abandoning too early. Give it 6 more months of consistent, honest effort. Track the inputs. Ignore the scoreboard. Let the roots spread where nobody can see them, including you. The surface will catch up. It always does, but only for the people still standing there when it happens.